All right, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're gearing up for the AQA English Language Paper 2 exam, you probably already know that the biggest enemy in the room isn't actually the questions themselves, it's the clock. Honestly, running out of time is literally the #1 reason students miss out on their target grades. But don't worry, because today we're going to fix that. We're going to build a definitive, chronological game plan so you can completely conquer this exam, master those tricky timings, and squeeze out absolutely every mark, from the first minute all the way to the final second.
So let's dive right into the big picture. Your entire universe for this exam is exactly 1 hour and 45 minutes. And the core strategy here is actually really simple, but totally crucial. The golden rule for paper 2 is this: every single question is worth more marks than the one right before it. What does that mean for you? It means your time and your effort have to escalate right along with those marks. You absolutely cannot afford to burn 15 minutes on a 4-mark question and then leave yourself with 0 time for the 40-mark finale. Mastering this timeline, that's how you win the game.
Here's our roadmap for the paper. We're going chronologically. We'll start with the exam overview, tackle the quick marks in questions 1 and 2, dig into question 3, scale up to question 4, and finally, take on the absolute beast that is question 5.
Starting off with Section A, questions 1 and 2, the quick marks. Now, when you first open that paper, remember, your first 10 minutes are strictly for reading. Literally, do not even pick up your pen. Then, question 1 kicks things off. It's only worth 4 marks. It's a nice, gentle warm-up, but please do not let this become a time sink.
For question 1, you're going to get a specific section of 1 source and 8 statements. Your mission? It's simple. Just find and shade in the 4 true statements out of those 8. The absolute key thing to remember here is that the answers will always appear chronologically in the text. You get in, you track down those facts in order, you shade the boxes, and you get out. Give yourself exactly 3 minutes here, no more. Instantly, we escalate to question 2. The stakes double to 8 marks, so the heat is turning up just a little bit. Your target time for question 2 is a strict 10 minutes, and then you've got to move on. This is your summary question, where you're looking for similarities or differences across the 2 sources. The magic formula you need to lock into your brain right now is point, evidence, and inference. You start with a nice comparative opening, something like, both texts describe. Make your point, drop in a short, punchy, embedded quote as your evidence, and then make a smart inference based on that exact quote.
Now pay very close attention to this specific phrase. From this, one can infer that this is exactly the kind of sentence starter the examiner is desperate to see. But listen up, because here is the fatal trap so many students fall into. There should be absolutely no language analysis in question 2. 0. Do not zoom in on individual words. Do not start talking about metaphors. Just show that you understand what the texts are saying and what we can logically infer from them. Grab your 8 marks and run.
Okay, moving on to question 3, language analysis. The reward jumps up again, this time to 12 marks. This is a massive shift in the exam. Basic comprehension isn't going to cut it anymore. Your technical analysis skills have to take center stage. To secure those 12 marks, you get a precise window, 15 to 17 minutes. Your job here is to analyze the language in just one specified source, and you've got to use accurate subject terminology. We're looking for 2 or more big, highly detailed paragraphs. You need to be hunting for nouns, verbs, similes, personification, the actual nuts and bolts of the writer's craft. When you're annotating techniques like metaphors, hyperbole, and emotive language, you need to be incredibly precise. Take a look at the Fantails sweet text example. A top-tier student doesn't just highlight everything in yellow. They identify specific techniques. For instance, zooming in on the hyperbole of "it took hard work and involved a lot of strangled crying in the dark." The writer uses that exaggerated adjective strangled to create this darkly comic, vivid image of kids struggling with the sticky texture. That's exactly what you need to do. Pick out the technique, quote it, and relentlessly analyze the effect those specific words have on the reader.
Next up, question 4, comparing viewpoints.
This is it for the reading section, the final and most demanding challenge. Question 4 jumps to 16 marks, which is double the weight of question 2. It absolutely demands your respect, and more importantly, your time. You have got to fiercely protect a strict 20 to 25-minute allocation here. Your task is to compare what the writers think, feel, and believe across both sources. How do they actually feel about their experiences? What's the tone? To nail this, build a clear coat hanger introductory statement. Think of it as a 3-sentence intro that perfectly ends your entire argument. Then follow that up with 2 massive paragraphs where you're analyzing the writer's methods, comparing them back and forth with transitional words like similarly or in contrast.
Please burn this contrast into your memory right now, because this is where dreams are dashed if you aren't careful. Question 2 is 8 marks, 10 minutes, looking at concrete things like differences between cars or schools, and strictly no language analysis. Question 4, on the other hand, is 16 marks, 20+ minutes, focuses on abstract thoughts and feelings, and demands lots of language analysis and zooming in on words. Never, ever mix up what these 2 comparative questions are asking you to do.
Finally, we reach Section B. Question 5. Persuasive writing.
Make no mistake, this is the make or break moment of the entire exam. Everything comes down to this. 40 marks. Just let that sink in for a second. This single question is worth 40 marks. That is literally half of your entire paper's grade resting on one single piece of writing. Because it is worth half the marks, you have to protect a full 45 minutes of your time for this section alone. You'll be asked to write a persuasive letter, a speech, or maybe an article. Spend the first 5 minutes just planning. Then, when you write, do it with one clear, unwavering opinion. Never sit on the fence and give a weak 50-50 response. If you think school uniforms should be banned, you fight for that point from the very first capital letter to the final full stop.
So, how do you actually guarantee those top marks? You follow this exact paragraph structure formula. First, your cram introduction. That stands for using a colon, a rhetorical question, a short anecdote, and stating your my opinion clearly. Your second paragraph must focus on pathos, an appeal to emotion with a really well-developed anecdote. Paragraph 3 is logos. Hit them hard with logic, facts, and statistics. Finally, ethos, where you build up your credibility with using inclusive pronouns like we, wrapping it all up with a powerful conclusion that offers a solution and a strong call to action.
Let's look at some real secret weapons to instantly build your authority. For those pathos and logos paragraphs, equip yourself with these high-level sentence starters. Instead of a basic imagine if, try saying envision this. Tell a little story by saying, take Emma, for example. She used to. And when you need that logic, just make up a highly credible sounding fact. Say something like, according to a 2025 study by UCL, or innumerable research studies suggest. Look, the examiner isn't going to fact check your statistics. They're just checking your ability to sound authoritative and persuasive. And finally, if you want to completely secure that grade 9, you've got to elevate your vocabulary. Think about using sophisticated phrases like, the unassailable fact is that, or I vehemently believe. Seriously, steal these phrases. Memorize them before you even walk into the exam hall. Dropping in words like conducive, imperative, or calling a situation a travesty will immediately signal to the examiner that they are dealing with a top-tier student.
So, what does this all mean? The crucial takeaway is this. AQA Paper 2 isn't just testing your English skills, it's a test of your strategy and your discipline. By respecting how the marks escalate, sticking fiercely to your time limits, and knowing exactly what every single question demands, you strip away all that exam panic and leave nothing but pure potential. So the only question left is, are you ready to master the clock, apply this strategy, and secure your grade 9? Your time starts now. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and best of luck.